We're asking the wrong questions about the teacher who was reportedly fired for having a group of girls take down his braids in class. We're watching this video and we're asking, are his intentions pure and is this too intimate? But those are the wrong questions to ask because we can only answer them after somebody's been harmed. The questions we need to be asking are, what is being normalized by this interaction? And what feelings might this interaction be causing in a child? As a youth development professional, your intentions are irrelevant when you realize your job is to model behavior that can and should be replicated by other people in your position. So what is being normalized by this interaction is being live streamed. Physical touch and proximity. And it's being normalized not only for the young people, but for everybody watching. And that's important. At best, this interaction creates a foundation for something called transference. Transference is when feelings and desires get projected from one person to another based on past relationships and unmet needs. Transference can create feelings for a kid that are inappropriate and unproductive for a teacher-student relationship. So a young person who has unmet needs for affection, attention, and validation might project feelings of admiration onto an adult who just introduced physical touch into their relationship. That, in and of itself, makes a young person more vulnerable to harm when those inappropriate expectations aren't met. If those inappropriate expectations are met, or if they take those same boundaries into relationships with other adults. Inviting physical touch into a teacher-student relationship creates fertile ground for grooming. That's the process a predator uses to build trust and emotional connection with a young person they intend to manipulate, exploit, or harm. They might use attention, affection, guidance, and special treatment to fill an emotional need from a kid's life. Then they'll desensitize that young person to physical touch and sexual topics, starting small and building up. All the while, they're testing their boundaries to see how far they can push before a young person resists or someone speaks up. The entire time, there's plausible deniability. The point is to slowly push the boundaries and make everybody involved question whether or not their suspicions are warranted. The kid, the parents, the people around the kid. So if something doesn't feel right, but you just can't put your finger on why, or it doesn't seem like a big deal, if it seems like a gray area but just not big enough to speak up about, that's the point. Making people question their own instincts means the victim and the audience are groomed or prepared for the next step. So how can you tell the difference between someone who's unknowingly creating the conditions where transference might occur and someone who is grooming a young person and the people around them for abuse? You can't. If you could, kids would be a lot safer. There are people who will say that this sort of interaction is necessary to build culturally responsive relationships in school. It's not. Cultural relevance and appropriateness come from the respect that teachers have for young people, the content they present, and the way they present that content in culturally responsive ways. There are 100 activities this teacher could have used to engage his entire class in culturally relevant bonding instead of having a handful of girls take down his braids. It would have been more effective, more inclusive, and help build their bonds toward one another in ways that are going to benefit their classroom. But he had an appointment to make, so he put his needs first. So in this video, I see a teacher normalizing the idea that his students will provide care for him using physical touch. It provides no benefit to the student-teacher relationship that couldn't be achieved in more effective ways. And if we let it slide, it provides a much wider gray area for people who intend to harm kids. Couple that with the fact that he has another video where he answers his students' questions about whether he prefers a pretty face or a big butt. Another video where he comments on the girl's size. And another video where he shows that he can be alone with students for a prolonged period of time. And it feels like we're being led down a path of escalating inappropriateness and desensitization. It feels like young people are being taught to accept standards in an adult-child relationship that will put them at risk in the future. It feels like professional negligence or grooming. I can't tell which, but it doesn't matter. It's unacceptable. We're asking the wrong questions about the teacher who was reportedly fired for having a group of girls take down his braids in class.
Thank you. It's funny how there were only girls taking down his braids, right? I remember when this went viral on the internet, there were a lot of people saying a lot of different things, but my one thought was the thoughts that he was expressing here. Why are they touching this teacher? Why are they in that close proximity? Why are all of the people who were touching him girls? It's like the inappropriateness of it is apparent to people who want to keep children safe. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever why a child should have their hands for a prolonged period of time on their teacher's body, any part of their body, whether it's their hand or whatever. There's no reason for it. I don't know. And then on his scalp and taking down his hair in the class and all of this, it's just too much while he's being filmed. And then he's on the internet crying about why he lost his job and all this other stuff. I just didn't understand. And the thing about it is we see these videos every single day of these men being exposed for having text conversations with their students outside of hours, saying things that start out normal, then the next thing you know, him and the child think that they're in a relationship, or the child thinks they're in a relationship with the teacher, right? This guy is really smart to talk about transference because these are the types of things that happen when you have a relationship with another person whom you are in power dynamic relationships where the person who is on the receiving end of all of that care begins to feel that the care is associated with other things. And there can be countertransference where the person with the power then also forms a relationship with the person who is also transferring on to them. And it's inappropriate in every single way that you slice it. This had nothing to do with school. It had nothing to do with academics. I don't even, honestly, I don't even know what to say. I just think that it's inappropriate. And it's sad that we're in a day and age where appropriate male contact with students is so lacking that we would excuse this behavior because he's male and because he's black and because we want more black men interacting with students. But please, let the prerequisite be that it's appropriate interaction. This was inappropriate. It was inappropriate no matter how you slice it. And that man, that teacher did lose his job, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Be a part of the live show with thousands of other viewers. Go to TonyaTKO.com/text and join the text notification squad and get a text whenever I go live. Support the show and yourself, and I'll see you on the next live broadcast.